Scare the camera.
Good afternoon and welcome to the All About Lincoln podcast. I am your host, Grace Tibbetts. Today I'm here with Lee Rand, who is running for town council. And today we're going to get to know him and kind of where he stands on issues. All right, Lee, how are you doing today?
Good. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Have you lived in Lincoln a long time?
I've been here about 40 years, and I was born in Bangor, lived most of the time in Old Town, came up here 40 years ago. I'm here.
And now you're here. So what kinds of things have you done in the past that makes you think that running for town council is the next step for you?
Well, actually, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, or told me 6 months ago that I'd be running for town council, I would have basically said you're crazy. But then I got my tax bill.
Right.
And I looked at that and I said, gee, didn't we get a big tax increase last year?
Yeah.
And now we got another one this year, and now they're saying maybe next year. And I said, enough is enough.
Right.
And what I'm hearing from people around town is, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? You know, retired people, elderly people, some of the veterans, you know, they paid for their house.
Yeah.
They worked hard. They want to stay here in Lincoln because they like the area and everything like that. And they find that they're getting priced out.
So what are the things that you feel like, if you were to become town council, what types of initiatives would you start?
Well, okay, you're lucky in the sense that today I am announcing a 5-point plan for the budget. None of the other candidates that are running for town council have a plan.
Right.
You know, they're all saying, well, yeah, the budget's kind of out of whack and, you know, taxes are too high. Please elect me. Well, wait a minute. You know, business as usual is
It's not working.
it's not working. So I have a 5-point plan,
Sure.
you know, which, you know, proposes practical, balanced approach to reduce or stabilize the property tax burden over the next 3 to 5 years with local efficiency, growth, and state partnership. Okay? The plan I have does not depend on any essential services being cut or unrealistic measures. It combines immediate relief with long-term sustainability and helping Lincoln to remain affordable, attractive, and fiscally strong. It's a 5-point plan that I've put together over the last several weeks that I think is a good starting point for discussions. Once we get the new town council in here in November, you know, we can look at things seriously and start saying, you know, use my 5-point plan as a place to start.
Okay.
It's not the finished product. I don't see it as being the finished product, but we've got to have some changes made at the town council. They can't keep spending the way they've been doing it, raising taxes. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and nobody has a plan. So I've got a plan. I'm saying, okay, you know, when we get there, the first meeting, we'll introduce this and say, okay, let's start discussing this. Let's start right here with these 5 points, okay? And one of them is to expand the property tax relief program. I have 5 points.
Okay.
Okay, and we want to help eligible residents, especially seniors, lower their tax bills immediately. And we can do that through local outreach campaigns like the Maine Property Tax Fairness Credit, the State Property Tax Deferral Program. Okay, we have to encourage people at the town office and the library, for example, to publicize these programs so that the seniors and people that are eligible can get involved in them. Okay, we have to explore a Lincoln tax stabilization ordinance for seniors. Okay, we really have to do that. Freezing taxes for those that meet certain income or age requirements. That is something that can be discussed at the town council. What would these requirements be? What would be, you know, the standards? Something's got to be done. I mean, I'm talking to people every day, my age and older, who are saying, we can't live here anymore. We paid for our house. We worked hard all these years, and now we have to pay rent to the town that we can't afford, basically.
Definitely.
And so I'm going to be a strong advocate for these citizens in the area. And it's, you know, I had people come up to me and say, well, yeah, I pay rent, so this doesn't affect me. Well, it most certainly does, because guess what? your landlord pays property taxes.
Right, definitely.
And what are they gonna do when they go up?
Yeah.
There you go. So it affects everybody in a lot of different ways, and nothing has been done for years in this area. Really serious effort to change the tax structure and the property tax and the spending. I'm going to advocate for a spending freeze in all departments until we have an audit and find out where's the money going. You know, what are we spending it on? You know, the mill ain't here anymore.
Right, definitely.
Oh, you know,
So I guess my question to you is,
Sure.
because I've heard the argument that costs are not just going up for seniors and for other people, but costs are going up across the board. So that the services that the town provides, those costs are going up too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what is your argument to that?
Well, basically, you know, everything is going up, it seems, and you know, we have to look at what we need and what we want as a town. One of the things that they did in Bucksport, Bucksport lost their mill, as you're probably aware, and they had the foresight in Bucksport to start putting money away on the town level for when the eventuality would come and the mill closed.
Yeah.
And my understanding is they had over $8 million in that fund to help offset, you know, a lot of expenses and things while they tried to figure out what they were going to do in Bucksport, you know, to handle this situation. And Lincoln didn't do that, you know, and we've kept spending and spending. And, you know, it's just like your home budget. You know, if you have a husband and wife and say they both work and they got a kid or two, and say the wife loses her job. Whoa, what do? You can't go to your neighbor and take money from them to pay your bills.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to cut back. You're going to have to look at what do I need? What do I want? What can I afford? You know, and I think the town has to do the same thing. I mean, you know, it might be nice to have this or have that, but maybe we can't afford it. We have to bite the bullet. We can't keep going to the taxpayers and raising money.
Right.
You just can't do it. So, like I said earlier, you know, the reason I'm running is because I got my tax bill, and it's gone up several $100s in the last 2 years for a little house that we have on a third of an acre.
Yep.
You know, and we like it. We want to stay here, but gee, you know, it's just gotten out of hand. And there's people that are really hurting. You know, they're coming up to me. I had one older person, and she was in tears. She didn't know what she was going to do. And so I decided to run so that hopefully I can make a difference. I'm running for the 1-year term.
Yep.
Okay, and we've got 3 other candidates running for the 3-year terms that are really good fiscal conservatives. We have David Island, we have Kathy Moyson, we have Eric Rojo, and with me on there, that's 4 of us. And then of course you got Sheldon Hannington that's on the town council already.
Yep.
So we have a unique opportunity here in Lincoln to change the way things are done at the town office, because we can have a majority. Most elections for town council, you have 2 candidates, maybe 3, if it works out that way.
Yeah.
Okay, but this time, we've got 4. Okay, and we have 1 on the council already, so that's 5. We can be the majority. We can sit down and say, okay, this is what we gotta do. And of course, we can debate different things. There's a couple councilors on there that I believe have been part of the problem all these years, but they're still on the council because they're not up for re-election. So, you know, we'll work with them, you know, and hopefully they'll work with us. But we've got to have a change of attitude at the town office. We just can't keep spending and spending and taxing, you know. And another problem that we have here, and it's not just a local problem, it's the state mandates and things that come in the Penobscot County, you know, and the school budget. Those things, those all affect how the budget goes here in Lincoln. Maine is the 2nd highest tax state in the country.
I agree.
And, you know, so it's a tough problem. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. And some people are gonna have to sacrifice, I think. But, you know, in the end, I think we can do that, as my plan that's on my Facebook page spells out, that we can do that without raising property taxes.
Okay, and What is your Facebook page if somebody wanted
Just
to?
Lee Rand,
Lee
R-A-N-D.
Rand, and it's on Facebook.
Yeah, and then it's on Instagram, and it's on a bunch of the
All of
social
them.
media. Yeah, you know, we had it, like I mentioned earlier, we had a candidates night at the vocational school last night. The Lincoln News, which is our local newspaper, never covered it. They never came. They didn't hear.
Yeah.
And we had all the candidates for town council were there. There were no school board candidates.
Yeah.
And that's another problem. One of the things I'd like to see changed, we have a school budget every year. They keep going up, 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 and up.
Yes, it does.
And then when you look at the test scores, they keep going down, down, down.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to do something about that. And that's because that's a matter for the school board.
Yes.
But the thing is, when the school board comes up with their budget, they give it to the town council, and the town council has to pay it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I grew up in Old Town most of my younger years, and they had a different system there. They had a school board, they'd come up with a budget and they'd give it to the town council, and the town council would look it over and say, nope, no, you can't spend it on that, no, not that, or yeah, we like that, good, we'll pass it. And they'd go back and forth and they come up with a budget. We can't do that here in Lincoln. The town
Yeah.
council has their hands tied. I don't know why that is, but I'm gonna find out, because I'd like to see something changed with that.
Okay.
You know, so it's more reflective of what's going on and what the people desire. I'm all in favor of education. In fact, Mananoka Academy used to be one of the top schools in the state. When my daughter graduated from Mananoka Academy, 1995, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the college admissions departments, and they went, oh, you graduated from Mananoka up in Lake? Yeah, great, you know, they don't do that anymore. I mean, the test scores are just, you know, and it's too bad, because we owe it to our young people to give them a decent education. And we owe it to the young people coming up, you know, to give them a town government that's affordable, efficient,
Mm-hmm.
and will make it attractive for them to, maybe if they want to, stay here, get a job, start a business, raise a family, stay in this beautiful area. Right now they can't do it. I mean, you know, they're leaving all left and right because there's nothing here for them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it doesn't help when they see the tax, you know, burden.
Yeah.
So, you know, I figured I would give a year of my time. I'm 76 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm healthy so far, thank God. And, you know, I figured, okay, I'll do that. And if we can get the other 3 elected to the town council this election term, we can get some things done.
Right.
And then next year, you know, my seat would come up for renewal, and I have no intention of running again.
Right. So
Okay.
you're kind of like focused on the taxes, to get the taxes down, to get them reasonable, so that people can afford to be in this lovely town.
Right,
And that's pretty much your agenda.
that's it, yeah. I mean, there's gonna be other issues that are gonna come up, obviously, over the next year, you know, and, but my attitude is that I'm a fiscal conservative.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at everything with that mindset, you know, looking through that lens, saying, you know, do we need this, or do we want it? Can we afford it, or can we not?
Right.
You know, yeah, some people aren't gonna be happy, I guess, because, you know, anytime you have to cut back or cut things, you know,
Right.
but that's life, you know. I mean, if like I mentioned with the family in a home, with somebody loses their job, they have to make decisions based on their situation and what's going on. Hopefully, with my 5-point plan, which is on my Facebook page, which I mentioned, you know, we can do this without raising any taxes and without cutting any essential services and that type of thing. It's all gonna take negotiation,
Right.
okay? And this is a starting point. None of the other candidates that are running against me have any
Any
plan.
ideas?
And yeah, they have no ideas. They're just saying, hey, vote for me. Well, I'm sorry. It's gonna take more than that.
Right.
You know, we gotta have somebody with some foresight, with some planning, and really looking into, you know, the role and the status at the town office, and, you know, what we can do to make it more mean, green, and efficient, or whatever.
Right.
You know.
Well, I've also heard the argument of, you know, it takes money to make money, and obviously Lincoln, because it lost its mill, it has to find another way to make economic growth happen in this town. And I know that they have an economic development counselor or I don't know what he's called, but he is on the payroll to find businesses that will invest in Lincoln and to make it more business attractive. So what is your answer for that?
Well, yeah, we've got to do that. You know, if we can increase the tax base, you know, with more businesses, it's gonna do a number of things for the area. Hopefully, it would these businesses would attract employees. They're gonna work. They're gonna live in Lincoln, pay taxes. You know, earn money, spend money.
Yep.
Hopefully, and that's a key to it. Spend money in Lincoln instead of going to Bangor or Portland or what have you. There's a lot of things we can do, but we've got to start somewhere.
Yep.
And right now, there's no start. I mean, you know, we've got this lake down here, but there's no infrastructure for any kind of recreational development on the lake, which is too bad. It's never been done. Yep. You know, they say, you know, come to Lincoln. Well, yeah, but why would a family in Nashua, New Hampshire, you know, pack up their family and say, we're going to go to Lincoln, Maine for a week this summer?
Yeah.
Why? What's there?
Right, so you would like to make it a destination for people to come to.
Yeah, and it can be a recreational, you know, destination, but it's going to take time to develop. It's going to take time to plan, and it's going to take investment.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, we've got a beautiful area around here, you know, so let's make it more attractive, not less. I mean, you know, we don't have the mill. It's not coming back, so we're going to have to find alternatives. And that's one of the things that the town council has got to look at. They've got to start saying, okay, you know, what can we develop here in Lincoln? You know, what are our alternatives? What are our options to grow Lincoln, to grow the economy, grow the tax base? You know, we just can't keep putting the mill rate up and paying, you know, more taxes and more taxes. I mean, it's just ridiculous. In fact, I'm advocating a freeze on spending and an audit on all the departments in the town to see how much we're wasting, if we're wasting any. Some aren't. Some are going to be very efficient, I'm sure. You know, the town manager's outrageous salary has got to be, well, as far as the town manager is concerned, I'm not in favor of firing him right off.
Yep.
Okay, for basically legal reasons.
Right.
But his contract comes up for renewal this spring.
Okay.
Or next spring, and I won't vote to renew it. And I can, you know, say that right now. You won't get my vote to renew his contract.
Now, what kind of things are you looking for in a town manager?
Well, I think, some people disagree with me on this, I would like to have somebody that has local ties to Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's familiar with the area, the people, and you know, the heritage that we have here, and that type of thing. And obviously has to be somebody, hopefully, that would have some experience in town management, and I'd like to have them live in Lincoln.
Yeah.
You know, instead of living down in Bangor somewhere or something like that, and you know, every time 4 o'clock comes, they take off down the river and we don't see them again. In fact, I think the town manager, or a lot of people in town government, should be more active in what is going on around town. You never see anybody around town, any of the celebrations, homecoming, or Loon Festival, or whatever you call it. You know, where's the town manager of Lincoln? Oh, he's not around, he's down in somewhere. Anyway, I'm not happy with him for a number of reasons. He's supposed to be working for the town council, but I think more or less the town council has been working for him.
Yeah.
And that's not good. But like I said, I've got a year that I have decided that I will put into doing my best to make Lincoln a better place to live, to work, you know, and after that, at my age and everything else, that's going to be it.
Okay.
But I think working with some of the people who are running for town council on the 3-year term, working with them with a majority on the town council, we can get things done. I think we can make changes that everyone in a couple of years is going to say, wow, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad we elected so-and-so, because look at what the situation is today as opposed to 2025. I mean, I'm very optimistic. I hear some of the candidates and some of the people who are on the town council are basically saying, can't be done, can't do it, it's an awful problem. No, we don't need that attitude. We have to have an attitude that, yeah, we can do it. Get the right people elected, and let's get them to work for the town of Lincoln and the people of Lincoln and the taxpayers of Lincoln. We can do it. We can change things. We can turn things around in this town if the voters and the taxpayers say, okay, enough is enough.
So lastly, what if talking to the people that are watching, why should we definitely vote for you as opposed to anybody else?
Well, why should they vote for me? Well, if they're voting for me, they're actually, in reality, would be voting for themselves.
Okay.
And I honestly believe that, and I think we can make Lincoln affordable again. And I'm optimistic. We'll see. We got 3 weeks before the election. We'll see what the people say. If they want more of the same, they can get it.
Yep.
Don't vote for me if you want more of the same. If you got a candidate that's saying, hey, come vote for me because I'm a nice guy, you're going to pay for it. You've got to find the candidates who are putting you first as taxpayers, as citizens of Lincoln, and saying, yes, enough is enough. That's one of my slogans, basically, is enough is enough. And common sense.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
And thank you so much for watching. And welcome to All About Lincoln.